You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. Happy Mercury Day. How was your 2/22/22? Or are you just sick of hearing that by now? I know a lot of people by the end of the day yesterday were feeling really over it. But something that I saw on social media that I want to share is actually Mel Robbins did this post, and it's kind of a plot twist. It started out like, it's 2/22/22. It's the only time in our lifetime we're going to experience this date, which is true. But by the way, we had 2/2/22. So, but then at the end she was like, but guess what? Tomorrow is the only time we'll experience 2/23/2022. So, of course, just encouraging people to savor each day as if it's a special day like 2/22/22. So, I welcome you to this brand new day and another beautiful opportunity to manifest, to meditate, to live your best life, because we can choose to do that every day. And today we have a lot of support from the cosmos, from the planets and the Milky Way, helping us to move forward, to tap into love, and to heal. If we're willing to put in some work, it can be a really healing day. So let's talk through what's happening. We have a sextile between Mars and Neptune. That's happening, actually playing out right now. We also have a sextile between Mercury and Chiron. These are supportive angles between our planets. And then the last quarter moon was very early this morning, right before the moon slipped into Sagittarius. So the moon is in Sagittarius over the next couple days, making a couple different connections today. So let's start with our major transits. Mars forming a sextile to Neptune. You can see Mars in Capricorn, of course, still forming that conjunction to Venus. They are transiting together hand in hand, although right now they're about a degree apart or less than a degree apart, but they're still very close to one another. And then Neptune is at 22 degrees in Pisces. It's home sign of Pisces. This supportive angle, a sextile, requires us to put a little effort in to realize the full benefits of it. And that'll be easy to do with Mars in the mix, because Mars is the planet of energy, of aggression, of that animal instinct. It makes us want to do something, want to act on our impulses. And it'll feel especially urgent to act when we are feeling love or when we're feeling sensitive. With this sextile to Neptune. So I see this as really heightening our desire for physical touch as well. Mars is a very tactile, physical sign, or our planet, I should say. And Neptune is the planet of dreams. It rules our sensitivities. Neptune is often referred to as being a higher octave of Venus. So almost this unconditional love. It rules spirituality, religion. You can see the link there. When Mars and Neptune lock into this supportive angle, it's actually exact. Speaking of numerical synchronicities, it's exact at 11:11 a.m. Pacific time. So how fun. When Mars and Neptune lock into this supportive angle to each other, physical touch can actually provide healing or give us a greater understanding of unconditional love. Our desires, ruled by Mars, are working hand in hand with our imagination. So this could be a beautiful time for some sensual healing, for some sexual healing, if you are in a safe position to do that. Also, any sort of physical touch, like getting a massage today, would be a really beautiful form of healing because it involves that physical component with Mars in the mix. This is the perfect energy for romance as well. We're able to tap into our imagination, our empathy, our sensitivity with Neptune involved. And Neptune is often associated with our ideals as well. Mars being that warrior planet, we might be more willing to stand up or assert ourselves when it comes to things we believe in. Neptune also ruling our beliefs. So if we're feeling very passionate about something or very certain about something, we are definitely going to want to stand up for it today. That's going to be the urge we have. With the moon in Sagittarius, try not to be too impulsive. That can kind of bite you in the butt. But if you are truly believing something, trusting something, and there's a loving energy behind it, keep in mind, this is all under the principle of unconditional loving energy with Neptune involved. You can really stand up for it today with Mars forming this sextile to Neptune. And you can probably guess what's going to happen tomorrow because Mars and Venus are transiting together. Venus is also forming a sextile to Neptune. These are the three planets most commonly associated with love. So this is going to be a very loving energy over the next 2 days, both this internal loving energy and an external loving energy with Mars and Venus both involved. Mars being that external energy and Venus being that receptive energy. So Neptune's support just adds this higher level of understanding, of empathy, of compassion, and belief, trust, faith. If you are waiting for a loving relationship to enter your life, having faith can actually be that work or that signal you put out to the universe that you're ready to receive it. So today, with Mars forming this sextile to Neptune, if you feel like you need to do something, it could actually just be a great day to journal, or that can be a great way to set intentions to take yourself on a date. Like, go do something to signal to God, Spirit, the universe, this is what I want my life to look like. And that is actually going to set you up to receive what you want when Venus and Neptune form this sextile, the same angle tomorrow. Also today, this is happening at 9 p.m. Pacific time, or it becomes exact. Mercury in Aquarius over here at 9 degrees. Once it hits 10 degrees, we'll actually jump ahead so you can see. Once it hits 10 degrees, it forms that same supportive angle, a sextile, a 60-degree angle with Chiron, the wounded healer. So you can see that playing out there. Chiron is in Aries. It's the little key guy. Chiron is represented by a key because it's our deepest wounds, our traumas. But once we're able to overcome those wounds, we can actually make them our superpower and help other people do the same. So it's a very healing energy. When Mercury gets support from Chiron, this looks like healing conversations, even just realizations. If it could be a conversation between you and spirit, right? Or a download that comes through, especially with Mercury and Aquarius, we're able to see things differently, see new perspectives. So when Chiron is supporting Mercury and Aquarius, if we keep an open mind, that's that work we have to put in with the Chiron, with the sextile. Can you tell my brain is a little bit fried from everything I did yesterday? If we keep an open mind, that can be that work we put into the sextile in order to get healing out of it. By the end of the day, you could see your trauma, your pain, your wounds in an entirely new light. But again, the key here is to keep an open mind. Okay, be flexible, be willing to see from a new perspective. The moon is in its last quarter phase. Today we have the last quarter moon. And this is the peak releasing phase of the moon's cycle. We compare the moon to a cup of water. It's like the cup is half full or half empty. I would say half empty at this point. And this is a time to release, to let go. Releasing whatever that looks like to you could also be that work that you're putting in, that signal you're sending out that you're ready to level up. So the last quarter moon was actually in Scorpio, in the final degrees of Scorpio, right before it moved into Sagittarius. But regardless, this moon phase is a time to release, a time to let go, and to surrender to a plan greater than yourself. Surrender to an understanding greater than yourself. And leaning into that faith, leaning into that belief, leaning into that trust will be a little bit easier to do with the moon in Sagittarius. We might even have a little bit more faith and optimism when the moon is in the sign of the Archer. So just letting go of what you think things should look like, letting go of the strict plan you have for yourself, being willing to be more free, be more spontaneous under this last quarter moon in Sagittarius, that can really set the stage for everything we've been talking about when it comes to love, when it comes to leaning into that unconditional loving energy. You guys are chatty in the comments today. I had this huge poll to rest, so that's exactly what I did. I felt guilty for not doing anything special, I'm assuming for 2/22/22, but I felt that the most, so I'm leaning into it. You know, Bailey, I think you are definitely onto something. You make a great point, because I'm sure if you follow astrologers on Instagram, if you follow anyone spiritual on Instagram, really, you probably were bombarded with all of the 2/22 content, all of the Pluto return content. I mean, I was right there with everybody else putting out my own content, but that discernment, that ability to listen to yourself, listen to your body, ask, what do I need today? Regardless of what everybody else is doing, not having that FOMO or that fear of missing out on some great opportunity, you listen to yourself. And it's often when we listen to ourselves that we're in the highest alignment with the universe. And your body could have just been telling you, slow down. Sometimes when we pause, when we slow down, we're opening ourselves up to receiving. So good for you. Good for you listening to yourself. Good morning, Court. Yes. Oh, you guys got snow over there. I saw my grandma lives in Nevada as well. She got snow. It's very cold here for California as well. It's in the 30s this morning, which is kind of wild. We haven't had a morning this cold, so we're experiencing a cold snap on the West Coast. Yes, hold the faith, hold that optimism under the Sagittarius moon. Just lean into that loving energy. Oh, and you have a Sag moon. Okay, so you're having your lunar return. Very interesting that you say that, because you know, your lunar return, sometimes I feel like leading up to my lunar return, I need rest. It's almost like we're in the end of that personal lunar cycle. So you are going to have maybe a renewed sense of hope, faith, optimism, having a Sagittarius moon, and just a renewed emotional energy when the moon hits the same point as it is in your chart. How cool. So let's talk about the connections the Sagittarius moon is making today. We know it's a last quarter moon. We're being asked to release, asked to hold that faith as we let go, open ourselves up for the possibility of something new under the new moon in Pisces, which is next week. Hard to believe that's happening already. And at 3 p.m., nothing is really happening with the moon all morning. The main energy we're feeling is that sextile between Mars and Neptune this morning. So it might even make you feel like you want to do something to almost pacify your sensitivities. Mars sextile Neptune, it can make us feel a little bit like we need to do something spiritual, or we need to do something that is going to make us feel good emotionally. But again, this is all about letting go, surrendering, leaning into that unconditional love, that faith, that belief. That's what really is coming up today. And if you're able to do that, again, this could be a really beautiful day for healing. So 3 p.m. is the first connection the Sagittarius moon makes, and it squares off to the sun in Pisces. This can cause some stress or anxiety, especially with the moon and sun both in mutable signs. It can kind of make us feel a little bit like, okay, what's going on? Like, we have no stability. We're just kind of floating through space here. And that can be a little bit anxiety inducing. So we want to be optimistic. We want to feel free under the Sagittarius moon, but the Pisces sun is really shining light on our sensitivities, any areas of our life that need healing. And whatever comes up for you today, remember, it's here to show you something. It's here to help you become the next best version of yourself. But if you're feeling especially sensitive, that's kind of par for the course in Pisces season. Just remember that uncertainty isn't a bad thing. You don't have to have it all figured out. If you're feeling any anxiety or stress by midday or this evening, leaning into that spirituality, trusting a higher power, even looking into philosophy or psychology under the Sagittarius moon can be very nurturing. I think that's why a lot of people lean into astrology, because it helps us feel like there's a reason for all the chaos happening in our lives, right? We're able to reflect on what's going on with the planets and what's going on with us internally and figure out what patterns are playing out in our lives. So leaning into spirituality, you're already here. You're already telling the universe, okay, I'm open to receiving messages. I'm open to receiving guidance, but trusting the path, trusting a higher power, trusting your own ability to surrender, to let go, to be free, to be spontaneous, to roll with whatever comes your way. That's really leaning into that Sag moon energy, and it will help you navigate any tension that comes up. Because when the moon and the sun square off, regardless of what signs they're in, this is like our internal self at odds with our external self. So this could even be something as simple as not quite feeling your best by midday today. By 11 p.m., the Sagittarius moon connects with that nice supportive angle between Mercury and Chiron. This is all playing out at the same time. So if you look at our chart here, you can see the moon. We'll jump ahead 2 more hours here. When the moon hits 10 degrees in Sagittarius, it's forming a nice trine, a flowing angle to Chiron, allowing our wounds, our pain to come through very easily emotionally. We can express it emotionally very easily. There's a nice balance, or not even balance, harmony between our healing and our emotions. But then also, Mercury is forming a supportive angle to the moon as well, helping us talk through or communicate our emotions. I think this would be a beautiful time. This is 11 p.m. Pacific time. So, late tonight, as the planets are coming into this nice supportive energy with each other, the moon, Mercury, and Chiron, this could set the stage for some really healing conversations. And this energy will carry us through tomorrow as well. So if you didn't have a breakthrough or an epiphany today, if you're thinking about these things, they could start to develop over the next day or two. But tonight brings the potential for healing conversations. With the moon in Sagittarius, we can understand our healing journey through a more optimistic lens, a more hopeful lens. And also, with the moon in Sagittarius, if we're willing to go on a little adventure emotionally, explore uncharted territory, we could have a major breakthrough with Mercury in Aquarius, allowing downloads to come through more easily, allowing us to see different perspectives. That's what Mercury in Aquarius is all about. So today, throughout the day, is really just asking us, lean into that faith, lean into that belief, and surrender to whatever comes your way. That's going to be the easiest way to access the healing energy all around us right now. And coming off of 2/22/22, depending on how you spent the very magical, maybe overhyped numerological day, you could still be processing things if you meditated, things that came through during a meditation, maybe something you were manifesting. You're still processing these things. Just know that surrendering, being open to whatever comes your way, again, is going to be in your highest good today. So let's do an overview and then we will pull a card. Today we have a supportive angle between Mars in Capricorn and Neptune in Pisces. This is allowing for physical healing, if we're willing to open ourselves up to physical touch, our desires are working hand in hand with our imagination. So this can be a very romantic, sensual energy, or it can just give us a little spark of motivation to take that next step in our healing journey, to take one step further into our faith, into our spirituality. Mercury and Chiron are also supporting each other, allowing for healing realizations, healing conversations. And the last quarter moon moves into Sagittarius, asking us to surrender, to release, to let go, and trust in a plan and a power greater than ourselves. If we're willing to put ourselves out there, to be a little bit spontaneous or adventurous, to put our faith, place our trust in the universe, we are letting spirit, letting God know that we are ready for the next level. So today is all about surrendering, trusting, flowing through whatever comes your way. And it could be a beautiful day to really process any emotions, anything that's come up for you over recent days. All right, let's pull a card. Anytime we have a Mars transit, I always want to pull from the Spirit Animal deck by Colette Baron-Reid, because I'm always thinking about our animal instincts when we're talking about Mars. So it's a big deck. I'm going to shuffle it up. While I shuffle, this is always your chance to ask any last questions. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you. Let me know how you spent your 2/22/22, if it felt magical, if it felt overhyped, if you did anything special, I would love to know. And if you're not watching this live, let me know in the comments down below. I love reading your comments, even if you aren't joining me live. Okay, let's see, one more shuffle. What do we need to know today? Ooh. Oh my gosh. Starfish spirit. And it says, open to infinite possibility. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, you guys. How many times during this live stream have I said, just be open, just surrender, just trust, believe. Open to infinite possibility. It's card number 59. So 59 means anything to you. Pay special attention. And let's see. Starfish spirit, open to infinite possibility. Stretched out on the beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the power of potential. As you look out toward the horizon, do you open to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunities beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone to dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith, for miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to being filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. How perfect. All of the transits are supporting this message today, asking us to lean into imagination with Mars forming a sextile to Neptune, asking us to trust, to surrender to a power greater than ourselves with the moon in Sagittarius. Also bringing that optimism and allowing us to really believe that infinite possibilities are open to us with all of these planets playing out. And I love how the description even said, open your perception, be willing to see things differently, essentially. And we have tons of activation with Mercury and Aquarius asking us to do the same. So aligned, Starfish Spirit. That makes me so happy when that happens. It happens every day. That's why I do these live streams. It's really selfish. I'm the one who's really happy after I pull these cards. I hope you are too. Thanks for joining me, Bailey. I appreciate you sharing always. You're always active in the comments. Make my morning. Thank you. All right. that's going to do it for today. I hope that helped you lean into the energy of positivity, of faith, of optimism. I hope you have another beautiful, miraculous day. 2/23/22, the only time we'll ever experience 2/23/2022, okay? Today is just as special as the day before and the next day. Today is whatever you want to make of it, and Starfish Spirit reminds us the possibilities of today are infinite. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another episode of Transits Today to talk through the energy of the day, but I appreciate you showing up for yourself, showing up for me this morning, and I hope you have the most fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow, but until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.